in-depth decisions is the name of the title today, the name of the message. Could have called it something else, and we'll get to that. Let me ask you a question. What do you folks do to relax and have fun? Some people like to play video games. Anyone in here? Come on, a couple of people like to play video games? Does anyone, have you ever had a Sony PlayStation? Anybody? Maybe? Well, if you've ever just relaxed with your Sony PlayStation, you probably have not played on your SQMY Sony PlayStation controller. Or maybe you like bowling, or tennis and other family games, but still on a video game system, but maybe you like to play on the Wii.
Wii.
No, it's the Wii. It's Wii bowling. Well, whenever we play Wii bowling at home, we like to relax and have a good time, and we break out the cookies. We just like to eat so many Oreo cookies that they're just so delicious. Oh, I love Oreos. Don't you guys love Oreos? I don't like that knockoff. What is it? Yeah, what a horrible knockoff. And as you're relaxing at home with your boring cookies, you may want to kick back and watch some football and some comfy sandals. Hike. Just do it. Hike. And I don't know what you guys do when you watch football, but I always like to get a little something, but I know it's not normal, but I like toast. And it's great. I have great news for all of you who like the non-butter products to go on your toast, because now you can have unbelievable, this is not butter with your toast. It's good to have a little competition. But when I'm really hungry, if you're anything like me, you get bad cravings and you want to go out and have something bad, some fast food. So you might throw on your Calvin Klein shoes, and you might go out to any number of restaurants. You might find yourself, you got to put on your Adidas jacket as well. Now it's getting a little cooler, and you might find yourself at KFG, at OMC McDonald's, or Pizza Hut, my favorite, Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut. I love that, and that's truly my favorite one. Now, these are obviously, you want it to keep going, don't you? These are obviously products and businesses that have been created to look like something genuine. They look like they're successful products, but really, they're knockoffs of something in the outside world. But would you be fooled? You wouldn't be fooled, would you? Why? Because you speak the language. These things are from your culture and your experience. But would someone in China that doesn't speak English know that it's not supposed to be Pizza Hut or OMC McDonald's? They may not. There's a good chance that they don't know. We are familiar with the real thing. Many people are not. They would get these products and visit these places and experience such satisfaction, right? Gotta get my water, sorry. They would go to Pizza Hut and they might experience it and enjoy it every bit as much as you don't. I mean, every much as you do. And they might come to value it and think that, they may talk amongst themselves, let's go to Pizza Hut, this is awesome, and not even realize that it's not the real thing, because for them, it is real. We may even look at those people and think how foolish they are to be duped. Yet, they truly enjoy that product or place. So the question for us today is, have we been duped? I don't mean by products, of course. Do we rely on something from this world that this world has to offer us when God has the real thing? That's a good question, isn't it? Now we're turning towards James's topic. Chapters 3 and 4. That's the question we should ask ourselves today. Do I rely on something from the world when God has something genuine for me? And what are those things? James tells us of one thing, at least. We know that today. And I don't know if you picked up on it, but he says that there are two kinds of wisdom. There's two kinds. Who is wise and understanding among you? Show by your good life that your works are done with gentleness, born of wisdom. But if you have bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not be boastful and false to the truth. I love that term, false to the truth. Such wisdom, he says, does not come down from above, but it's earthly, unspiritual, and yes, even devilish. There's two kinds of wisdom. He said it right there. That wisdom that creates those things, that's not wisdom from above. Now, I don't know about you, but I was never taught in school that there's more than one kind of wisdom. Were you? I just know that I wanted to get smarter, and I thought that after some time that I would become wise because I had a certain amount of knowledge. And guess what? I could be, but that's not the same kind of wisdom that God gives. The wisdom that you get in that regard might as well be a knockoff brand of the real thing. It might as well have had this logo. Wisdom. It's not the real thing, but it seems so close. But it's wisdom of the world. With true wisdom, there's only one place to get it. We don't get it when we get a diploma, or when we get a promotion, or by going to a seminar, or reading books, or getting married and having children, nor through experiencing the loss of a loved one. So how can I say that? Because only through God and His interaction with us, through those things, do we really truly get God's wisdom. Because it's only He who can grant it. There's one source of that wisdom from above, and that's Him. James here was taking issue with something. He says, hey, if you're really so smart, why are you so rough with people? And if you really get it, why are you so envious and motivated by selfish ambition? He says to not be boastful or false to the truth. Don't lie to yourselves. He says that such wisdom does not come from above. That wisdom from above he's talking about can affect our everyday life, every single day. But I'll give just one example that's related to James's topic of selfish ambition. Think of what motivates our young people in choosing careers. In more than one way, many times there are decisions that are driven out of wisdom of the world. Teachers and parents may encourage students to pursue paths surrounding the gifting that's most visible. The same thing feels natural for those students. While other students look at the world, they see the desirable things in the world that others have. and they devise a plan by which they can get a job, a career. There's a path now that they can formulate that helps them to get those things. So I ask you, which way is right? Neither, actually. Trick question. It would seem right, or more right, that you would choose a path that's associated with your giftings. That's of God. But the reality is that when we are God's children and He wants to talk with us and commune with us, we might find that that thing that we see as our gifting that's most visible is not actually the path that God has us on. It's something on the side as we pursue the true calling that He has for us, that He wants to share with us, is yet to share with us. It's through prayer, conversation, maybe even fasting, that we find that true wisdom. When you are following God's will, there will be others around you, loving, wonderful, godly people, even godly people, who will tell you that you should not do this or that, or that you should do this other thing, and they did not hear it from the Lord. But here's the thing. If you have been directed by God because you have trusted in Him, waited on Him, leaned on Him, sought after Him, and listened to Him, you can trust Him and make those weird decisions, right? According to the world's view, those strange things that you do. So unless you have lied to yourself, having done all of those things, you get to move ahead with that godly wisdom. And that's when you find that amazing area of life where you start to hear the Spirit directing you in a way like never before. Let me also say today that we have to take pause when judging the decisions of others. It's easy to make snap decisions that we consider the way things are, should be, based on what we know. So unless we are so blessed to walk around knowing the mind of God, we might just be guilty of being world wise, despite a cloud of witnesses saying, "Good point, right on, and We need to remember that despite that cloud, or confirmation from others, we have to have that confirmation from the Lord. Do not be boastful and false to the truth, James says. James talks about the source of the conflicts between God's people. Do you remember that section? He talks about the source of it. Where does it come from, I believe he says? It's from worldliness, allowing human ways and desires to take over. The world's ways and the world's wisdom will look right to many people, even in our church. It's just a part of culture. It's the way that we are. It's our world. It's not only an over-reliance on our brains, but an over-reliance on our feelings. Thoughts and feelings which are manipulated by others almost at every turn when we go to the television, listen to the radio, look at a magazine, read a book, or view any type of media. We are being manipulated. Now, James addresses motivations. I know that's a negative view. That's their intent, at least. James addresses motivations such as selfishness, and I have to say today that it's easy to even unknowingly make decisions motivated by fear. So common, isn't it? Every time I make a decision, I'll confess, I think about the things that I'm afraid of. And then I have to close that thing away. I do that. In fact, I'm not sure that it's a bad tool to say, what's the worst thing that can happen here? And then, God, what is your will? What is your plan? go to him, right? What book of the Bible do you think about when I say that we're going to talk about wisdom today? Yeah, Proverbs, right? Proverbs 14:12 through 13 says, let me go to it. Proverbs says, "This sermon is almost over, and the people rejoice, for God heard the cry of their heart." Something doesn't seem right there. Oh, that's Proverbs. Oh, come on. Proverbs, that's not the right verse. That's a knockoff verse. It's not the actual proverb. Okay. Proverbs 14:12 to 13 says, "There is a way that seems right to a person, but its end is the way to death. Even in laughter, the heart is sad, and the end of joy is grief." There's a lot of really powerful wisdom verses in Proverbs, but I love this one. Things seem right in a certain way, seems to us in our natural inclinations, but those things can lead to death. And I think it's such a sad verse too, that even in laughter the heart is sad, and how people mask their sadness through their laughter, and they ignore it and they shove down that sadness that they have. The end of joy is grief. We can follow our natural inclinations, and it can lead to death. People of this world will do that. But it brings to light the glorious opportunity and responsibility that we have to know the true source of wisdom and to not share it is a sad thing. In closing, I want to read verses 17 to 18 again. It says, "But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without a trace of partiality or hypocrisy. And a harvest of righteousness is sown in peace for those who make peace." A harvest of righteousness. Help us, Father, to sow peace. And 4:7 through 8a again, "Submit yourselves therefore to God." Are you all looking for like something that's wrong in these, by the way? Did I already trick you into that? I'm sorry, these are legitimate. "Submit yourselves therefore to God," it says. "Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you." So in closing, I say this. Don't be duped by the world's wisdom. It's actually just wisdom. Amen.